Hello, my name is Opal Singleton. I'm the president and CEO of Million Kids. I need to stop and get your attention. I have been in this business of combating human trafficking and social media exploitation for 10 years, but never once in my lifetime have I seen what is about to happen in the state of California. And I need to get your attention and I need your help. It is Senate Bill 357. Please stop. Don't take my word for it. Google it, look it up, and get your own opinion. But I want to share with you, based on my experience, what I believe is about to happen here. And I'm asking you to join with me to stand against this. This is a Million Kids Insider Alert. Please follow us at Million Kids and sign up for our Insider Alert. This is urgent. This is important. In 10 years, I have never seen an issue so critical, and I need to get your attention. California is on the verge of legalizing street prostitution. It's almost unimaginable. You know, when I talk to people, they go, really? And they really can't accept that this is about to happen. But I'm going to tell you, it is this close to passing. It has already gone through the Senate, and it was approved. It is in the Assembly. It has already passed the Public Safety Committee. It is a hair's breadth away from passing. And I need you to stop and pay attention, look at this, and help us take action. So what is SB 357? It is, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous bills we have ever seen in California, and almost nobody knows about it. That right there should get your attention. The fact that it's being kind of quietly snuck through should get your attention. Well, that day has come to stop. I want you to look it up and see that this is, in fact, very real. It has passed the Public Safety Committee in the Assembly, and it's just right now in the Appropriations Committee, and it's very close to being voted on for the final decision. So what is SB 357? Well, let me give you the plain language. You're welcome to look it up. But it basically repeals all the sections that define prostitution in our legislative system. And in plain language, it's being replaced so that it will be amended to make street prostitution legal, and law enforcement would not be able to intervene. I am not kidding. And it goes a step further. In addition to all that, it allows a person who's been previously convicted, whether they were charged and convicted in a trial or pled guilty, if they've been previously convicted of these kinds of crimes, they can repeal their sentence and actually take it completely off their record. And many of them will be able to be released from incarceration early. So why should you care? Well, I think when I talk to people, they have a vision of prostitution being something like Julia Roberts and Richard Gere in Pretty Woman. Great movie, by the way. But it is not like that. I lived in this world for 10 years of helping people get out of the life and combating human trafficking. And what is about to happen is women, men, transgenders, anybody that wants to will be able to do street sex. As far as I can tell, there are almost no limitations on it. So it will include gay and transgender people negotiating a transaction right out on the street, and they will be especially vulnerable. I believe this is going to endanger your neighborhood because as far as we can see at this writing, there are no limitations. It can take place in front of a school. It can take place in front of a church. It can take place in front of a business. We have seen this in the past. 10 years ago, this was how it was done on University Avenue out here in Riverside, or 5th Street and G Street over in San Bernardino, Holt Boulevard over in Ontario, and Florida out in Hemet, Florida Avenue out in Hemet. And literally, they will stand in front of your businesses so that the community gets deteriorated. People don't want to come into the business. Where there is street prostitution, there are used condoms and needles. So this will not be safe. In addition, homeless people will be even further exploited as they need money, and somebody will come along to them and say, let me show you how to make money. So why is this happening, you say? Well, there's probably some good-hearted people who mean well, and then there's some others. We won't go there. But the idea here is that when prostitution is illegal, law enforcement will sometimes arrest the sex worker. Yes, that does happen. They are then further victimized by their pimp because they got arrested. And now they have an arrest record, making it difficult for them to get a job should they desire to get out of the life. I know this business well, and I do know that that is a legitimate concern. However, this bill will not protect the sex worker, and in fact, it will greatly endanger them in ways that nobody is articulating, except hopefully you and me today are paying attention. The sex worker will have intense competition. Think about what's about to happen here. When street walking, when commercial sex out on the street, including car sex, 80% of street sex takes place in a car. When that becomes legal, people will be coming from all over the world to participate here. And what is going to happen is you're going to be having sex sellers of all kinds, male, female, transgender, coming from all over the world to be able to participate in this marketplace. Yes, sex buying will still be illegal. That's one of the first questions I go, well, how does this work? Sex selling is legal, but sex buying is illegal. Well, that won't take them long to figure out a way to say, look, I'm not buying sex, I'm selling sex, and she's selling sex, or he's selling sex, and we're just doing a trade. So that isn't going to help the problem at all. And yes, it'll still be unlawful to be a pimp or pandering. However, it's illegal today, and that hasn't stopped anybody. I have known more than one pimp who says, oh no, I don't even know her. She places her own ads. She does her own thing, except all her money goes back to him. There's quotas that they don't want to talk about because of the fact that they will get beat if they do. Thousands of sex sellers and their agents will come to California to sell sex. The competition will be even more fierce. Just the impact of COVID on prostitution has been an interesting thing to watch. Most of the commercial sex providers in our county have anywhere between an $800 and $1,000 a night quota, or they don't get to eat, or they get beaten, or they don't get to sleep. And that is just absolutely exploitative. Is that a good word? Exploitative. This really isn't a good thing. When the competition heats up and you suddenly have 40 sex workers in a block and she still has a $1,000 quota, how is that going to turn out? I remember 5 or 6 years ago, after a speech that I had given in San Bernardino, I drove through that area up on 5th and G in San Bernardino. In one block, I counted 37 girls out there waiting to make their quota, and that is about to return again. What scares me about this bill is there are no restrictions or limitations that we can see at this writing. Now, maybe it's going on behind closed doors and we don't know it. But as far as we can tell, this can take place day or night. Think about what happens up in Las Vegas when they have legalized prostitution. It's in a fixed building where it's confined and your children don't view it. And it isn't open to the public where it's harming the businesses and harming the community. And the girls get STD checks and it's regulated so it can be considered safe. None of that we can find is in this bill. I believe that there is going to be significant increase in the amount of prostitution of women, men, transgender in your community. It'll be high competition. It will devaluate your property. It will change your neighborhood, and it will expose the entire industry to your children. One other thing that nobody seems to be talking about, and I want to bring to your attention, we know that at least 1.3 million people entered the United States since January of this year on our southern border without proper documentation. Now, those are the ones they counted. We don't know about the ones that we don't. But what we do know is most of those people owe a coyote money. They're even given bracelets. This thing is so crowded now that they're given bracelets so the coyotes can keep track of who owes them money. Of course, they cut the bracelet off. But think about what's going to happen now that they're coming to the US and they can make money by street sex. I'm going to tell you at least half of that million plus a group of people owe money to a coyote. And even half of them would be 250,000 people. We see them out selling flowers and oranges on the street. We see them doing odd jobs to pay back their coyote, but we also see them doing sex. This is one of the cases out of Colton, California. And this was 7 people were arrested. They were recruiting unaccompanied minors, 14, 15 years old, bringing them up to everywhere from Ventura down to Colton for sex in commercial businesses. And that money is being laundered right back to the drug cartel. Now it'll be right out on the street. It will not be any different from the Asian communities. We are seeing many Asian massage parlor rings being taken down. This is one that operated from Ventura out to the Inland Empire and down to San Diego. They were making so much money that when you, the sex buyer, made your date, that you called a telemarketing center and they were buying and selling real estate to launder the money that they had in 50 different bank accounts. Just imagine when street sex becomes public and is acceptable, you're going to see those kinds of rings greatly multiply. Okay, I am concerned about the sex worker, and I understand the problem with them being arrested and having their record made public where it's hard to get a job. But there are other ways to address that. Here in Riverside County and San Bernardino County, we have a lot of resources. Rebirth Homes, CASA, REACH, Operation Safe House, Open Door up in the desert, up in San Bernardino, and SAFE too, Family Services that they have through the district attorney's office. They help them get the visas they need. They help them get their records expunged, and they help them get out of the life. It is not going to be helpful to multiply the number of victims rather than to address the issue of assisting victims. So please contact your state assemblyman immediately. Tell them to vote no on SB 357. Please pass this word around to everyone you know. Share the video, get it out there. Tell everyone you know so that we can combat this. This is a Million Kids Insider Alert. Please sign up if you don't receive them regularly and share this with everyone you know. We are putting a lot of our financial resources towards combating this. If you want to assist us by donating, you can do that by supporting the work of Million Kids at millionkids.org. To contact me, just contact me at opal@millionkids. Folks, never in my career, over 13 years globally, 10 years here in Southern California, have I seen an issue that I am so concerned about. I need you. We cannot just skip around the world thinking this is all going to work itself out. This is not Pretty Woman. This is a bill that will harm our neighborhoods, it will harm our kids, and it will further harm that sex worker that we have dedicated our life to trying to assist. Please, you can write to me at opal@millionkids, but go to your assemblyman, share it with everybody you know. Time is of the essence. We don't know at which minute this bill might pass, and we need to get people's attention immediately. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting the work of Million Kids.